Hey guys, this is a clip from censored.tv. Please go there now. $10 a month, unlimited content, new stuff every day. Okay, now to the clip. Dea, are you there?
Dia, yes, hello.
Well, I always pronounce it Dea because I pronounce the name Claudia.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And you are in the States, I suppose, when they go Claudia.
Let's hear you pronounce my name.
Gavin.
No, it's Gavin.
Gavin.
No, Gavin.
Gavin.
No, Gavin.
This is going to go on forever.
I actually stole that joke from SNL. How are you doing?
Good, I'm really well. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you.
What? You got a lot of party photos behind you there.
Yeah, this is my friendship wall. Although you do tend to lose, these people drop off once you start entering politics.
Yeah. Well, even my parents are old folks down in Florida, and they're telling me that they're seeing their geriatric friends drop off as Trump.
Oh.
The more Trump wins, the more liberals get pissed off and want to punish Trump supporters.
Yeah, that happens here in Australia. Trump's not even our president, and expressing any affection for him like I have means you gain a lot of disrespect from people around you.
But didn't conservatives win there? Or as you call them,
Yes,
liberals?
Our conservatives in Australia are corrupt. They're not the liberal conservatives. So our party, the Liberals are the mainstream Conservative Party, but they're not really liberal. While it's better that they're in power than say the Greens or say Labor, it still isn't. It's not like having Trump in office. It's just not.
You're attractive. What are you, like Lebanese or something?
My mother is Colombian. My father is Spanish, but I was born and raised in Australia. Thank you.
Nice mix.
Thanks. Latina.
I recommend that mix if anyone is out there breeding humans. Take that advice. I wanted to talk to you about Australia Day. Did I see this correctly? Did I see people getting arrested for wearing Australian flags?
Yeah, you did. Unfortunately, that's the state that I'm in. I'm in Victoria, and it's actually well known now as the Socialist Republic of Victoria. And that particular patriot you're referring to was actually two different patriots, but I think the one you're referring to is Neil Erickson. He was just standing on Flinders Street station steps, just standing there wrapped in the Australian flag, and the police removed him and for breaching the peace. He did nothing wrong. He stood there.
There was protesters nearby, and their argument was you're antagonizing them.
No, that he would eventually antagonize them, so they wanted to remove him. And also the Proud Boys were going to be in that same spot within a half hour. That they missed each other by a half hour. And if the two groups had been there together as a united force, even though Neil Erickson is unaffiliated with the Proud Boys, that doesn't mean people can't stand together and do something like make a stand for patriotism. You should be allowed to be patriotic on Australia Day. But the cops, they were ahead of it, and because the Proud Boys had a conversation prior. Days leading up, the Versace cowboy and I forgot the other names.
Are we supposed to know who the Versace cowboy is? Is that just a given?
It's in my video. You can see it.
Oh, okay. Who the fuck is the Versace cowboy, for those of us not in the know?
So the Versace cowboy is one of the heads of the Victorian division of the Proud Boys, but it wasn't just his idea. It was Barron and Justin, and these three guys put together this stunt to have all the Proud Boys standing there, showing their pride in Australia, showing the world that the West is best. And the cops, threatened. They threatened one in particular, and they kept isolating him and saying, "You're the Versace cowboy." And they were like, "Oh, we're going to have you removed. This isn't what we spoke about." I only got a little bit in my video, but they were threatening to remove them based on breaching the peace, even though they weren't breaching the peace.
Amazing.
They were holding up signs, and at the back of the sign was the legislation. The legislation that says they have no right to be removed. So they had it all very well planned.
You know, it reminds me of Canada. They had a Canada Day celebration, and a bunch of people showed up to deface the statue in Halifax. 4 military guys said, "Why are you defacing the statue? Why do you have the flag upside down?" And they were attacked. They were told they were disrupting an Aboriginal ceremony, and they were all booted from the Navy and the military. One of the guys was third generation, and the Proud Boys who did this were half white and half Native, as far as the 4 of them.
Well, the Proud Boys generally are mixed.
Yeah, they all quit. They all quit the military after that. And it was daring to show patriotism on that country's particular day.
Yeah. It's becoming very much my conclusion is that Australia has become, whether people fail to realize it or not, a communist land in disguise as a free place. And the Proud Boys are one in several. Neil Erikson and Avi Yamini. These are people who are trying to work against this particular narrative and show Australians that it's okay to be patriotic. And unfortunately, the consequence would be a false detainment. Like, they drive you away. They can't arrest you, but they can, like, because what the police say is not a lawful instruction. They can't just say kiss my feet and you have to do it. That's not how the law works. But they trick the public, and the public believe that anything a cop says they have to do. It's not the case. And so, yeah, we're living in a commie land, and unfortunately, patriotism is under arrest. It's really sad.
It really is crazy that on that particular day you got arrested for wearing the flag. But I noticed there was protesters there, and they were protesting the whole concept of Australia Day, and they were saying we stole this from the Aboriginals. Now, wait a minute. Wasn't Australia a place where we forced criminals to go against their will? We threw them there. And so they weren't colonizers. They were dropped off there. And secondly, there wasn't that many Aboriginals there. Like, did they take land from Aboriginals?
Well, the thing is, no, because I can probably agree with the concept that perhaps, yes, of course, the Indigenous folk were here first, but they didn't really do with the land what the settlers did. You know, the settlers are the ones who created the roads. The settlers are the ones who created the infrastructure. The settlers are the one who created our judicial system and implement everything that we now have today. And I'm sure there were Aboriginals assisting, but if it had just been left to the Aboriginals from then to now, they were nomadic people. So they went from area to area. So it's funny to me that, like, they do these acknowledgements prior to, I'd just like to recognize that this land belongs to the Wurundjeri people or that kind of stuff. It doesn't, whilst I think it's nice for them to do that, it doesn't really do anything. I don't really understand it, because they were nomadic people. They were hunter-gatherers, and they moved on from place to place. And so it's quite confusing. The
other question is, let's ignore what I just said and pretend it was stolen from them, ripped from their hands. What do we do now? Like, we just give Australia back, and then all the Australians go to Europe?
That's what the chanters were saying. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
So where does Australians go? They have to go to Europe?
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what you're stating is exactly what I stated in my video. I wrote, how cute. They want to give back their land and their homes to the Aboriginals. That's what I wrote. I was joking, because I know that the chanters are not going to give back their homes to the Aboriginals. But, like, yeah, what is their conclusion? I'm not really sure.
What do you want me to do? Okay, you're the boss. Now, what's next? We had a protest here in New York called Decolonize This Place. There's probably 1 million American Indians in America. So if we all go back to Europe, there's like vines growing through this studio in a few years, and like a deer is roaming through here trying to find a Snickers bar. Like, America would be abandoned if we gave it to the 1 million Indians. They'd all be in the South.
Well, it's offensive to say these days, but it's the British or the Europeans who really did make all of made the West best. Like, I'm obviously of Spanish heritage, and the Spanish are part of the Western world, but it was the British who settled Australia and created it to what it has become. It is the British who did the same in Canada. It is the British who did the same in America. It sounds offensive to say today because we've been conditioned to believe that that's not the right thing to say. But the West is best, and everyone is flocking away from Sudan and away from the Middle East to want to come to our country. So it shouldn't be offensive to say. It should just be obvious and okay to say.
I don't want to hurt any American Indians' feelings, but to be honest, when we got here, you hadn't invented the wheel.
That's exactly what people say about other
little lagging a little behind there, guys. Little behind.
Well, it's unfortunately true. I have Native American blood, so that doesn't offend me.
Yeah, it's evident. Well, okay, we're out of time. Thanks for coming on the show and showing us that Clown World has made it all the way to the other side of the world.
It has, unfortunately. It's ridiculous.
So again, that was from censored.tv. New content every day, $10 a month. Go sign up now. We got Laura Loomer, Milo Yiannopoulos, Copper Cab, Soph, Joe Biggs, John Miranda. We got conversations with Candace Owens, Cornell West, Ann Coulter, Roger Stone. The list goes on and on. We have live shows where we call in, we read your letters. You can find out more here on Twitter and Instagram. It's fucking awesome.